All right, let's just jump right in. If you're in the SEO world, you know this feeling. You land a new client, maybe in a field that's super complex, super regulated, and suddenly you are just drowning in information. It's like you're staring at a giant mountain of data with absolutely no clue which way is up. But what if you had a map for every single topic you had to tackle? A kind of personalized guide that didn't just show you the path, but actually explained the entire landscape, the shortcuts, and all the must-see spots. Well, that's the promise of a really powerful concept from information science called domain analysis.
You see, the real problem for us isn't a lack of information. We're swimming in it. It's that we're lost in this sea of irrelevant results, trying to make sense of these huge, complicated subjects. Without a compass, our strategies just end up being kind of superficial, based more on guesswork than any real deep understanding.
And that's exactly why we need a better way to do things. We have to find a method that takes us way beyond those simple flat keyword lists and into a much deeper, more organized understanding of our client's entire world.
And this is domain analysis. It actually comes from the academic world of information science. And it's all about studying a specific area of knowledge, what they call a domain, to figure out how information gets created, how it's organized, and how the people in that world actually use it. It's a systematic way to build better info systems.
And this quote really gets to the heart of it. We're not just making a list of facts here. We are mapping the people, their relationships to each other, and all the dynamics that shape this whole universe of knowledge. It's more like a living, breathing social map.
So what does this knowledge map actually look like in practice? I can tell you, it's not what you're used to seeing in a typical SEO audit. To really get it, let's start with a pretty simple comparison.
Think about it like this. A regular geographical map shows you things like rivers and mountains, right? Well, a knowledge map shows you a field's core concepts and theories. Instead of cities and roads, you're mapping the trends and communities. And instead of borders, you're identifying the specialized language and even the power structures within that field.
Now, to build a map like this, you're going to need a legend. You have to know what all the symbols mean. What features to even look for as you explore this new place? So these are the key things you'll be mapping.
The main thing here is to really investigate these elements. You start asking questions like, what are the big foundational ideas here? Where's the research headed? How do the experts talk to each other, and who are the real authorities? What's the jargon they all use? And, so important, how did this field even get to where it is today?
And believe me, domains are definitely not static. They're always evolving. I mean, just look at the domain of technology. In the 70s, that meant mainframes. In the 90s, it was the web. In the 2000s, it was all about social and mobile. And now, it's semantic AI and LLMs. You have to understand that history to really get what's happening now.
Okay, so we've got our map, we understand the domain. So what? How does this actually turn into a better, more solid SEO strategy? Well, this is where all that theory becomes real action.
Let's use a practical example. Just imagine your new client is in the regulated cannabis industry. That's a super complex, fast-changing field, and you're coming in totally cold. A simple keyword list just isn't going to cut it. You need a map of this entire world for sure.
So here's how the map becomes your secret weapon. First, it pushes you to do much, much deeper term research, because now you get the specific lingo, the core ideas, and all the regulatory stuff. Second, you can build a site structure, a taxonomy, that actually mirrors how these ideas connect in the real world, which makes getting your client to sign off so much easier. And third, you get to throw out all that unstructured guesswork and replace it with a repeatable, almost scientific foundation for your SEO.
And all of this really brings us to the big picture. This whole approach gives you a new compass for SEO, one that points you toward true expertise and results that last. But there is one really important distinction we have to make.
Now, you might be hearing all this and thinking, hey, this sounds a lot like domain modeling from software development. And you're not wrong, they're related. But domain modeling is about representing a field so you can build an app. Domain analysis, the version we're talking about from information science, is about deeply understanding the field itself, its context, its history, its people. That's our strategic compass.
And you know, this isn't some lightweight concept.
The researcher Birger Hierland, who's a huge name in this field, actually identified 11, that's right, 11, different academic approaches for how to do a domain analysis. That just shows you how deep and rigorous this whole methodology really is.
At the end of the day, everything we've talked about, it all leads to one place: establishing true topical authority. The whole reason you build this map and do this deep dive is to move beyond just ranking for a few keywords. The goal is to become a genuine, trusted voice in your client's world.
So that leaves us with one final thought. I want you to take a hard look at your own SEO process. Is your strategy built on a flat, disconnected list of words, or is it built on a rich, dynamic, and deeply understood map of the entire domain? Honestly, the answer to that question could change everything.